The resource I used for this activity is a simple Google form. I made up 5 true-false and multiple-choice questions in a Google form, which served as a formative assessment to gauge what students learned from the previous night's homework on the Bill of Rights. In a flipped classroom, this would be a ticket to enter opposed to a ticket to leave, where students answer questions at the end of class after being introduced to the material. It only takes a minute to answer the questions. Getting immediate results from their responses provides me a general assessment of any weaknesses they might have in their understanding of the subjects, which will give me a better idea of what I need to focus on more in class during that period. This assignment incorporates Learning Standards ISTE-T3A and ISTE S1C. So let's get started. First, the form will be posted in my daily posting on Google, in Google Classroom. And it's right here, so that's all the kids would do right there, is just click on that as soon as they enter class. And like I said, it's only a 5-question quiz, so they're just going to scroll through it quickly. It doesn't count for a grade. It's just an easy, quick assessment to see where they stand. So the first question, how many amendments are there in the Bill of Rights? Freedom of speech allows you to say whatever you want, as long as you think it's okay. That's a true and false statement. Which of the amendments in the Bill of Rights protects the right to own a firearm? Which of the amendments in the Bill of Rights protects you from unlawful search and seizure without probable cause? And the last one, true or false, your local, state, or federal government can take your privately owned land for public use. As soon as they're done with that, I can quickly check out their responses. So just click on right here. And let's take a look at how they did. There was no surprise as far as the rate of people who got the first one right. I kind of expected that. Most people have heard of that before, as far as the Bill of Rights consisting of the first 10 amendments. The second one, not so good. It was a little confusing maybe to some. Freedom of speech allows you to say whatever you want. And a lot of times kids think that, they're always led to believe that, yeah, freedom of speech, I'll say whatever I want, so let's move on. But there are limits. And so this one didn't surprise me, but it kind of just reminded me that I needed to kind of focus a little more attention and go over scenarios that don't necessarily permit freedom of speech, as far as having it, as far as there being limits to certain speech. And the next one, which of the amendments in the Bill of Rights protects the right to own a firearm? This one didn't really surprise me, considering all the unfortunate cases of mass shootings. Kids have become pretty familiar with the Second Amendment being the right to guarantee firearms, the right to own them. But if a lot of people did not get it, I would obviously devote a little more attention to that. I think what's more important, though, in class is that you actually focus more on the reasons why the Second Amendment was added to the Constitution, not necessarily, obviously, that the fact that the Second Amendment gives you the right to own firearms. Got to get them to think a little more critically. This, like I said, though, this is just a quick survey. Which of the amendments in the Bill of Rights protects you from unlawful search and seizure without probable cause? I was pretty impressed that kids tended to know this for the most part, that it is the Fourth Amendment. It's probably doesn't surprise me, because they tend to really be fascinated of the do's and don'ts of what police can and can't do concerning search and seizure. And the last one, a little more difficult, obviously. Your local, state, or federal government can take your privately owned land for public use. That's something that a lot of kids kind of struggle to even comprehend. They would think that's something that could happen only in a country like maybe North Korea or former Iraq under Saddam Hussein, or some dictatorship. But it lends to a great conversation about how people's property can be taken as long as it's for public use. And we'll take a look at some court cases concerning the taking of land for public use. That's also known as eminent domain. So like I said, just a quick little assessment to kind of gauge where the kids stand. And again, it allows me to kind of just figure out where I need to focus a little more attention and where I don't really need to, and I can kind of move through things quicker. I hope you guys take a look at it and enjoy some feedback. Thanks a lot.